Interesting things in subreddit drama today. Pedro Pascal takes the hand of female co-star during anxiety attack on stage, and Redditors can't decide if it's sweet or creepy. Um, here's the video in question. Oh my god, what a sick freak! What an absolute sick freak. Now, I didn't actually know that Pedro had anxiety like this. It's kind of wild to think about, because he's an actor. His face is all over the place. He's a celebrity, gonna be well known, and he's a pretty well liked celebrity. We don't have a lot of bad press on Pedro. I say that I don't want to jinx it because a lot of the times you'll see somebody that's a pretty wholesome person and they end up not being a wholesome person. But I have a good feeling about Pedro, and a lot of people, most people, are under the impression like, hey, this is fine. She wouldn't, try to go out of her way to like hold his hand if they weren't comfortable with the situation. He does have anxiety. I didn't know he had anxiety like this, but he usually tries to have contact with someone. Not a huge deal, but as you can imagine, this is Reddit. So I'd imagine that they've tried to do the same thing with random strangers. They just randomly been like, I'm nervous, hold my hand. And it didn't work out with them. The woman instead slapped them away and said, get away from me, you freak. Because when people are usually cool with each other, they do things like hold hands or hug. But when they're not, they don't hug or hold hands. But it is what it is. So anyways, there's obviously some debate here. Does this look more like he touched her and she didn't want him? So instead of making a scene on stage, she grabbed his hand. Notice how he goes from a smile to a frown the second she grabs his hand. I don't know. I love them both. I just think it looks a little weird. Does he frown? Oh yeah, he's totally disappointed. He's like, damn. He kind of looks like he's frowning there. Oh, but it's a much deeper frown. You're onto something there. Almost like she realized her friend was having an anxiety attack and didn't like it, so she frowned. Oh, she frowned. I was looking at him. Notice how he goes from a smile to a frown. She kind of looked the same way the whole time. She had the same face the whole time. I don't know why that was even brought up. You guys are assuming that though. Isn't that what you're doing? That's the funny thing. You're assuming, so are you, champ. I usually assume that the kinds of people that would do something like this are cool with each other because usually 99% of the time that's how it is. Absolutely. Another example of how Reddit forces a false narrative onto a video clip. Yeah, like I'm getting downvoted, but I genuinely think that's what's happening. Her hand snaps down hard. Yes, that's a hard snap down for me. She basically tore his arm off. Yeah, I agree. Agreed. Even if the caption explanation is true, and if it is, where's the source? Anxiety doesn't give you license to grope people. Yes, classic groping. Oh, yes, the back of her arm was groped. Absolutely disgusting. And I'm not saying you can't. Obviously, if you don't want to be touched, you don't want to be touched. But I have a feeling that these two that have been working together probably have a more they have a better understanding of their relationship than we do, but it is what it is. Okay, well, he didn't grope. Okay, so this is the main person commenting this. If they are friends, that physical contact is not incriminating, so chill with that. Gotcha. We have a loop around. I have anxiety, but this dude is just a creep. Isn't this the one that I just read? Oh, I have anxiety, but this dude is just a creep. Or he worked out with his friend beforehand. Hey, if I get nervous, I'll tap you on the arm. You make him sound like he's special needs. I think the title, the text, and emoji describing the situation already did that. It sounds like they're describing a Make-A-Wish kid. Dear God, dude. He just has anxiety, which were all totally fabricated. Show me where him, or I'd even like to hear it more from her, their little anxiety hand-holding agreement. Y'all are soft babies needing your baby little hands held because the world can see you, lol. I mean, we need to get old boy Ryan Randy up on the main stage of anything, because I guarantee you he's shitting his pants. Like, let's be 100%. Why is this person's? I guarantee you this guy's shitting his pants. It's very easy to be like, you're a celebrity. Just be cool with it. Y'all would be weird about it too. Now, I will admit, if you're gonna be a celebrity, you kind of have. That's one of the things you kind of have to understand about being a celebrity is that people will go crazy over you, but also at the same time, these whole like a little anxiety holding you got to hold hands with somebody because the world can see you. I guarantee you, if you got put up on a stage with just 500 people watching you, you'd shit your pants. Rehearse the speech, bitch. Pedro Pascal has publicly addressed his struggles with anxiety in an earlier interview with The Guardian. Anxiety is something that I have lived with since I was a child, so it's a part of my chemistry. I don't know what kind of person I'd be without it. It's something that I manage, but it's also a part of what makes me me. That's kind of crazy. That's probably really cool to hear if you're the kind of person that suffers from anxiety, because he's not only extremely successful, because obviously if you have anxiety, you can still be successful, but he's also like a celebrity. You know, he's an actor. That's like, for someone with anxiety, that takes balls, man. Where is the bit about him being so fragile he needs his hand held like a toddler? Yeah, man, I would love to see you do any type of performance in front of a person. Anyone that talks like this, I guarantee you, shits their pants immediately. Literally a coping skill for people with anxiety. Oh my God, it's the same dude down here. Y'all are soft babies, needing your baby little hands held because the world can see you. Goo goo gaga, hold my baby hand. It's funny because these people are just, they're not saying that they go through the same thing. Like, they're just saying this is a coping skill for people with anxiety. He didn't say, I have anxiety. I don't have anxiety, and I get it. This feels like somebody's projecting like mega hard. It's kind of weird. This guy just has like a hate boner for, I don't want to, listen, don't follow the dude. Don't go do anything on his Reddit. I just kind of want to see. He's gotten comments removed. Pedro, he's even, what celebrity are you unable to like because of how fake they come off? Pedro Pascal. Read body language, you creep. Wow, he just really doesn't like Pedro. Well, hey, man. You suck. I don't know what to tell you. Everyone says it's cute, but the handhold looked like a dude stop touching my back reaction. Do you always hold someone's hands with interlocking fingers when you want that person to stop touching you? They're on stage. What behavior would you demand from her? Pepper spraying him? Dear God. These are like these terminally online men. I swear to God. Why in your brain do you go from like, I don't want this person to touch my hand? I guess the next logical step is for them to get pepper sprayed. No, she can be like, no, Pedro, stop. She can be like, no, Pedro, stop. You know what I mean? There is a level, or she can be like, no, I don't want to hold hands. That's a thing that can happen. But she most likely didn't care, which is why she grabbed his hand and held it firmly. You know what I mean? It's really just that simple. Why do you jump to pepper spraying? You guys are weird. This is weirdo, like, hyperbole jumping to this is like a guy. This is a guy that's been pepper sprayed by a woman before, What do you want them to do? Pepper spray him? You're endorsing that? The act of entwining hands is not indicative of her being uncomfortable with his touch. It's a sign of intimacy. She's obviously comforting him. Who interlocks their fingers with someone they're trying to separate themselves from? It's just not rational. I mean, I can understand people might be uncomfortable and they'll still hold hands because, like, they're just, like, in the situation. They don't know how to say no, I guess. But, I mean, you're assuming a lot if you just assume that's always the case. It looked like that to me, too, and I love Pedro. Don't try this if you are not famous or ugly. I'm not famous, and I'm ugly, and I be holding hands all the time. That's all I do is hand hold. You know what I mean? I be hand holding. Might I hold your hand, fair lady? That's exactly how I said it, too. And I tip my fedora, I show her the Funko collection in the background, and I make sure my hands are mega clammy, and I get a hand hold every time. They think, yeah, I guess they think I'm special needs, like the other guy said. I think the point is that they have an established friendship. You don't do this with strangers, but trusted people. Even if you're famous and good looking, you shouldn't try this on people you don't know. Everyone talking about how cute this is, but I'm not convinced the caption goes with the video. This could have easily been stop touching me like that and her grabbing his hand with later interviews being damage control. I'm sure I'll get actually'd. Yeah, you will. But usually people having anxiety or panic attacks aren't smiling, relaxed, and caressing. I don't know if I've seen plenty of people that just smile hard. Like, I've seen people just flat out start laughing like crazy whenever they're anxious. And I've also seen people shut down completely and not say anything. Turns out not everyone reacts to anxiety the same way. But, it is what it is. He literally touched someone without their consent, and Reddit goes, aw. Y'all got some problems y'all got to work through. How do you know she didn't consent? She's literally said in interviews that they're friends. She is aware of his problem and does what little she can to help. Yeah, if they're friends, I'm sorry, man. I saw you hug your friend there. I know you guys know each other, but did you ask for consent for that hug? Y'all are doomed. Pedro's problem has been an open secret around Hollywood for years, and most women who can't avoid working with him have a game plan. The source is what? Yeah, like where people we do know that he's talked about this before and it's obvious, but like an open secret. Most women who can't avoid working with him have a game plan. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Read body language, you creep. Oh my God, it's Ryan Randy again. Read the tons of comments here who think her body language is a sign of their healthy friendship bond. You dumb fuck. Yeah, true. Read, like, you gotta, at a certain point, you can think something's weird, but when the vast majority of people are like, hey man, you're being weird, you really gotta really kind of rethink, you know? That's a kind of a problem we have here in the US of A. You know, when it comes to other people, a lot of us, when it comes to, I mean, not to get all social issues and whatnot, but when it comes to like the LGBT community, a lot of us, quite frankly, it's not even like they're necessarily pro LGBT. They're just not anti LGBT. They're like, oh, this is a gay dude. Oh, I don't like. Okay, why does that affect me really in any way at all? That's like what most people think. So when we see the people like freaking out and being like, what the? I'm being forced to see it. It's like, no, you're not. You're not being forced to watch two gay dudes go at it, you know? And some of you will watch two women go at it and then pretend like you're anti-LGBT, but we know we know your search history. We can all see it. But it's just not a big deal. It's crazy that they're like, I get blown away, but I've been blown away by this ever since I was a kid. And I've always been just the most boring ass straight white dude on the planet, right? Not bisexual, not anything, just straight. And every time it's like, dude, who cares? Like they want to get married. Next they'll want to adopt kids. Don't care. Hope they're good parents. That's what I care about. If they're good parents, hell yeah, brother. Oh, there's this one story of this gay couple. They adopted a kid and they killed the kid. Okay, there's plenty of straight parents that kill kids too, man. There's plenty of straight women out there drowning their kids. Not plenty, but it happens, you know? But anyways, right? Have to be privileged for that move, Lamau. Nope, you can be just as ugly as I am. It's like they took the joke of hand-holding being lewd serious. I would wager a lot of them simply don't have many human interactions and assume any type of physical touch is affectionate and possibly sexual. I've been kind of wondering if maybe the pandemic had an effect on like certain Zoomers. So, you know, when they were kind of developing and going through high school or something like that, maybe they have like a weird outlook on touching people. Like the idea of just germs being passed is so like an everyday thing for them, and you know, maybe they're just kind of like it's just strange. It's just strange for them. Reddit shocked when Pedro Pascal can touch a woman, but they can't. How can he touch? The only creepy thing is how much Reddit karma farming was had off of this man's anxiety. Like, if it's so wholesome, maybe leave him alone about it. That's kind of true, but people need to stop being so weird about him. I mean, this is what people do with celebrities, man. I agree with you as well. You know, it's obviously, I will say that there is something, like I said at the beginning, there's probably something very rewarding. Like if you're the kind of person that suffers from like anxiety or severe social anxiety, to see someone that also suffers from that be at Pedro's level, not just success-wise, but also like well-known and famous, it probably kind of makes you feel like a little better. Not everyone, but there's probably a lot of people who are like, you know what? He's got anxiety and he's out there doing, I can do it, you know? And I'm not saying that you have to, you know what I'm saying? But you know, you get the idea. You get what I'm saying. Unsurprising that a bunch of Redditors don't know what it looks like when you display basic human kindness towards another human being. Very, very confusing situation. You miss the extra drama in the comments sections, or the comments, when one person said he would feel even more anxious holding hands with someone other than his wife or kids, and other users started seething with anger and arguing with everyone under this comment because he's bragging about it. I thought that was going to go a completely different direction. I thought they were going to say that I thought they were going to get mad at him for implying that, I guess I should have known that sub better. He's bragging about having a family. What subreddit was this posted on? Made me smile. So it's a pretty big sub. Those kinds of subs are pretty big. Did I scroll down too far? Oh, no. Come on. That's crazy. And the ones about how a guy had issues with being touched and people told him he was going to be a bad father. Oh my God. There's a difference between being touched by other people and also, your family, at least in my opinion. But I don't know. Germophobic people still have families. Look at that guy who touched a woman's hand before. Wow. And here I'd be giving the guy shit for making literally 2 other people on the face of the planet solely responsible for fulfilling his hand holding needs. Like, my dude, you can hold a bro's hand. That is a chill thing for bros to do to each other. I don't really hold hands with my bros, but there's never really a situation where it comes up. Hey, bro, listen, we got to cross this street, and I'd feel a lot better if we were holding hands doing it. Honestly, don't hold hands too much, anyways, with most people. I'll hold hands with my wife, and even then, I live in Florida. Hands get sweaty. Hand holding. Everyone is talking about how cute this is. I'm not convinced. We read this. This comment is just uninformed. There's no one way that people with anxiety usually act under stress. Everyone has their own coping mechanisms. That being said, smiling or fawning in a response to fear and needing tactile reassurance are pretty common. Yeah. That guy was cooking absolutely nothing. It just absolutely made no sense. Don't try this if you're not famous. I mean, the person he's doing this with is also famous. A bunch of these are from the same guy. Yeah, that Randy dude's got some problems. He needs to, have an anxiety attack, end up with a black eye, and a lawsuit. Only a fucking Redditor would manage to both a public interaction this poorly. Whatever. Even a hypothetical one. If it's a random person, you shouldn't grab their hand as a way of coping with anxiety. 2, the coping part comes from making contact with someone you know and trust on that level. Fucking this up so much that you get a black eye is like trying to build an IKEA table with instructions and ending up with a couch of rusty nails and spare pieces of leftover wood. This is what I was talking about with that guy who was talking about getting pepper sprayed. You know what I mean? Like, what should she have done? She couldn't have pepper sprayed him there. And it's like, why would you even jump to that type of conclusion? We can use our words. We can say, hey, stop. I don't want to hold hands right now. We can do that. We don't have to punch someone in the face. We don't have to pepper spray them, Now, if they don't take the first warning, you get the idea, man. As someone with anxiety, it's a classic to start like this. This is so sweet. I wish I had someone that supported me this openly. He gets her attention. She turns around, sees what is happening, and offers her hand to calm him down in the span of 7 seconds. It's empathy in its finest form. One that we should all be able to experience without some gremlins judging us on it. Reddit love to fabricate outrage. True. And I love to laugh at the fabricated outrage. Oh, this is Randy getting downvoted. Anyways, genuinely not sure these people have interacted with humans. This is fine. You'll be okay. If we hear a story 4 years from now that Pedro was using fake anxiety to get women to hold his hand, then I'm sure that will be a juicy, juicy story for, who knows, TMZ or something. But as far as I know, we'll be all right. Everyone will be all right.